This is the Talent, Sales, and Scale Show.
Right, your brand pitch has 3 components, okay? So I call this sucker the brand trifecta. Now, let me be honest, these terms have been around for forever, but I consider it a trifecta because it's a formulaic approach, and I love formulas. And I spent the last decade studying buyer psychology and behavior science to understand what are the 3 things that somebody needs to know to actually give a crap about your product or service. And it started from my sales career. Seriously, that's where I figured this out. And it's just very simple. Number 1 is they need to know, tell me what you do. Tell me what you do. In fact, the first thing that somebody asks you when you walk into the room is what? Oh, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? That's your tagline. I build brands that win more work. Well, interesting. A great tagline should answer what you do, and it should be provocative enough that gets somebody to go, really, what do you mean by that? Tell me more about, right? It's not pretentious.
How do you do that?
But provocative. Tell me more. Hold on. Tell me more about that, Kate. And so then the second thing that somebody wants to know as a follow-up, you should tell them the next layer of detail, which is, oh, the value proposition statement, which really is saying, okay, what I mean by that is here's the problem that I know you're experiencing. Here's how I solve that problem. Here's how I solve your problem. Now, here's what's interesting. The third and final piece of information that somebody needs to know are what we call differentiator statements, sometimes called your 3 uniques, right? But it's really asking the question, how are you different or better than the rest? Because if you think about it, in an average conversation, I tell you what I do, Brian. You're like, that's interesting. What do you mean? And I say, oh, well, what I mean is, here's how I can solve your problem. Other people have said that before. And so while you can give a great tagline and a great value proposition, which should be true and provocative and different, still people want to make sense of that. And they need to know, okay, let me make sure I'm tracking with you. How are you different and better than anybody else who's promised that to me? And so if you can answer those 3 things, you get somebody to the point of conversion. And the point of conversion is where they go, oh, that makes sense. Okay. So Kate, how does that work? Or what does that look like?
Now, so let's push back on this a little bit. So we talked about the what and the how, but what about the why? I'm told, Kate, that I need the why to do this. So how speak to that person.
Your why, as far as like, why do you do branding? Or are you saying, where does the why come into the conversation?
Where does the why come into the conversation?
Your why is in your value proposition statement. So think about it this way. Your value proposition statement is supposed to call out the pain that I'm experiencing deeply. Have you ever gone to somebody's website and you go, oh my gosh, they just read my mail? Like, how did they know, right? Have you ever felt that before? That is a phenomenal brand that did a really good job of, in the first few sentences, totally calling out your pain. And your pain is your why. So by speaking to your customer's pain, you're getting them at a point where they go, yeah, that's exactly why I care, because that's the pain I need solved. You can't just say, I deliver value. It's really about, here's the pain. And if you get this pain solved, what does that do for you and for your business?
Yeah. Now, curious thing is, depending on your tagline, well, let me ask it in the question instead of making this suggestion here. Your tagline, should you only have one tagline? Does that tagline need to be different per the persona if you truly understand the why each persona is going to take action? Or is that a unique tagline and then you need to switch up your value prop per that persona?
So that's a phenomenal question. You're asking me really, how do you build what we call kind of like a brand architecture?